Hi, good evening. This is Gavin Boyter. This is my channel where I read out, as you know, 1,000-word stories based on 5 random words. Today is rather a strange one, based on an idea I kind of had floating around for a while, in various forms. I hope you enjoy it. The 5 words that this story has been inspired by or based on are, and it is called Black Cubes. In a top secret location in the Nevada desert lurked the Theoretical Incursion Center. It took a retinal scan, voice and fingerprint identification before you could even call for entry to the 30-strong think tank beavering away below. What TIC did, in essence, was formulate strategies to deal with a host of incursion events, or if you were of a more optimistic bent, first contact scenarios. These range from alien viruses, although the 2020 COVID-19 crisis had shown Earth had plenty of microscopic enemies of its own, to repelling mammalian, flying or water-dwelling invaders, all the way up to protocols for how to handle visits from intelligent species, friendly or hostile. Every sort of alien bogeyman you could think of, they had it covered. Or so they thought. What nobody had envisaged, except seemingly an alt-country singer-songwriter from Millerstown, Ohio, was giant, softly humming, unspeakably matte black cubes, floating several feet from the ground in thousands of locations all over the earth. Joel Gittings Jr., farmer and part-time musician, who hadn't made it as far as Cincinnati, let alone Nashville, had woken up at 5:15 a.m. to milk his cows, only to discover 2 incredible things. The first was a trio of black limousines outside his front porch. But even more alarming was a 60-foot square black cube floating above his house. It hummed ominously and emitted a light crackle of static electricity. It absorbed all light. The only way you could tell it was a cube was by walking around and seeing its outline change from a regular to an irregular hexagon and back again. Joel did a circuit with the men in black, who seemed convinced he knew more about the clearly extraterrestrial object than they did. This would be absurd, were it not for the fact that a day before the black cubes had arrived, materializing out of thin air, Joel had written a song based on an eerie dream called Black Cube Blues. Black cubes in the morning, floating in the hazy light, black cubes without warning, made of shadows, made of night. Black cubes calling out to me, they sing a silent song. Black cubes want to take me, and one day I'll be gone. When Lieutenant Simons and Lieutenant Connor, man and woman respectively, said he needed to come with them, Joel thought he was in trouble. What for he wasn't sure, but this was clearly no time to rebel. Connor smiled and said, "Don't worry, bud, we just want to pick your brains." Joel chose to assume she was speaking figuratively. 2 car rides and a chartered plane from a military base later, they arrived at the TIC site and Simons and Connor shepherded Joel down in a lift to a facility at least a quarter mile underground. It looked like a little like mission control at NASA. There were people there with a military bearing, and others who had the harried, intelligent look of scientists. An angular gent in a smart suit, with a leader's bearing, walked over and shook his hand. The team seemed to defer to him, yet all eyes were on Joel. "General Thorncliffe, pleased to meet you. Please have a seat and some refreshment." Joel sat, sipped coffee, and waited to be told what the hell was going on. Eventually, they briefed him on the 97,411 other cubes which had been reported around the world, and their various attempts to communicate with the aliens, none of which had proven fertile. "So, you want to brain scan me because you think my song was some sort of prediction?" Thorncliffe laughed. "Yes and no. We want you to dream." "Sorry, you what?" "We would like you to fall asleep so we can monitor your dreams." As crazy as it seemed to Joel, Thorncliffe and his team were serious. Also, he guessed, desperate. So he took the sleeping pills, was fitted with electrodes, bedded down in the isolation quarters, and slipped into a deep sleep. When he awoke, the scientists thanked him but revealed that his REM patterns had not demonstrated anything useful. "So that's that," Joel said. Officer Connor approached to direct him towards the lift. "We'll call upon you again if we think of anything else. Needless to say, you didn't see any of this." Joel nodded like a good patriot. "Don't want to hear the rest of the song?" "Sorry, the rest?" queried Thorncliffe, overhearing. "I only uploaded 2 verses. I couldn't think of the final one. It came to me this morning. Thought it might be useful in some way." Thorncliffe thought for a moment, his fingers together in a pyramid in front of his chin. Then he turned to the assembled TIC team. "Can anyone get this man a guitar?" Minutes later, Joel had tuned the Gretsch that someone had procured, and although its action was a little heavier than he was used to, he banged out a passable version of Black Cube Blues. When he got to the 3rd verse, after a brief instrumental interlude, which he felt was underappreciated, Joel sang, "Black cubes spat me out again, said we just ain't ready. Black cubes faded like the rain, left me here with Freddy." "Freddy's my old deerhound," Joel explained, finishing with a strumming flourish. There was a portentous silence. Joel began to feel exceptionally self-conscious. "I guess I'll be on my way. So, wait a minute, General, we've got reports coming in," said an excitable woman wearing a large pair of headphones. Mice clicked at laptops, large screens flickered into life, scenes of cities, deserts, forests and seashores around the world. There was absolutely nothing strange about any of the live feeds, apart from one thing. There were no black cubes. The headphone-wearing scientist swiveled round in her chair. "Sir, they've gone, vanished into thin air." Joe looked down at the guitar in his hands. It was a handsome instrument. "Any chance I can keep this?" he asked, while the scientists and soldiers and security personnel rushed around in a chaotic whirl. So there you go. Beware the black cubes. I hope you enjoyed this. Do that thing and maybe watch another. And if you like this, please share it with your friends. It's been fun as ever. I really enjoyed writing this one. Kind of glad to get the black cube story out there in the world. And I hope you enjoyed it too, and I will see you next time. Thank you.